And next up is Near. What do you have for us?
Dog shit.
Oh, dang.
What?
Trash. I got
Wait,
trash.
No,
is
utter. I think you mean utter woke nonsense.
Utter woke nonsense. True.
utter
True,
woke
true, true,
nonsense? Yeah.
true. Yeah, so I watched Witch Hat Atelier, also known as Tongari Boushi no Atelier.
Uh-huh.
This is a manga original by Bug Films. Bug Films previously did Zom 100. Um, so they're
Oh,
was
wow.
relatively.
Okay.
Bug Films like a new studio, or were they a spin-off of something else?
I
I
think they're a spin-off.
for
Yeah. So they're the studio by former OLM members.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
well, it's not bad either. Yeah.
No, I
Is
mean,
Yeah.
OLM's not
yeah,
bad,
yeah,
but
yeah.
also like that, even that is still kind of insane for what
Yeah.
Nier is about to get into.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Um. So they're a relatively new studio. Zom 100 is kind of like their only other main production.
But it was a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and they managed to snag this, which is, like I said, manga original. It's been out for a while. It's one of the big ones. Um, and yeah, they managed to snag this somehow, and I think they did a pretty good job with it.
It's the manga original? This manga
Yeah,
original, right?
yeah. I have
Yes.
read
Okay.
a decent amount of the manga. Back
Oh,
when it was
nice,
first
nice,
coming out.
nice.
Um, I haven't like kept up with it.
Mhm.
But I did read a decent amount. And um, the main kind of idea is um, the main character, Coco, she wants to be a witch. And in this world is like witches are like the only people that can use magic. And
Mhm.
um, she thinks magic is super cool and awesome and badass and epic. And um, one day, uh, as a wee child, she comes across a witch, and he sells her a book, basically like full of magic and bullshit, right? And um, the way the world is set up with this, there's a lot of world building in this, and a lot of it is like magic systems and the way that like the witch kind of like society is structured and stuff like that. Um, but the way that the world sees it is basically if you're not born with magical abilities, you can't use magic, right? Um,
Mhm.
but the reality is that anybody can use magic. It's just that the method to use magic is kept secret by witches um, because of the fact that anybody can use magic is uh, that mankind does what mankind does best whenever they have the ability to do anything. um, they use it to fucking kill each other. And so it was kind of agreed upon, I guess, between like either the kingdom or some sort of secret society or whatever, that only a select few would be able to use magic, and then they would wipe the memory of basically all of humanity as to like how to cast magic, and then it would be kept
Mhm.
secret from then on. And so Coco wants to be a witch, and she's got this book, um, and she doesn't know how like to use it basically. But one day, a witch named Kifri comes along to her village, and she ends up sort of seeing how the sausage is made basically, and that the
Mhm.
way that magic in this world is cast is like through drawn kind of like sigil. Um, and as soon as the
Mhm,
sigil
okay.
is completed, it's like a circle with certain runes or stuff
You have
like
to like
that.
spend time drawing it, or is it like it's
Yeah,
Yeah,
just incantation kind of stuff? Okay.
yeah, yeah. You actually
but
have to physically draw it
you
out.
can stop you can stop connecting the circle to like not immediately cast the
Yeah,
spell.
Yeah, so the
Are they
spell is
like when they
only
when they draw it? Is it like building Fortnite buildings like super fast or no?
No.
not really, no. So
Okay,
the
so they actually have to take time building it.
yeah,
Also,
so the way it
importantly, I don't know if you
works,
were going to mention it, they also do need a specific ink, though, too, like a magic ink.
yeah, it's like a special ink. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's sort of set up in a way where it's like the sigil in the middle is kind of like the element the magic spell is, and then there's runes around the sigil in the middle that sort of direct it or channel it in a certain uh, manner, whether it's like an orb or some sort of uh, beam or something that can just kind of statically be manipulated, something like that. And then around that is a circle, and as soon as the circle around it is completed, then the spell is cast. And obviously, smaller uh, smaller drawings are going to be weaker spells, more like contained, and then the bigger the sigil is, the more powerful the spell is, right? Um,
Hmm.
but Coco ends up seeing this, and one night in her room, um, she uses this book that she's had for years, um, and this quote unquote wand that came with it, which she discovers just so happens to be a pen, um, that has this special ink, like kind of bundled in with it, basically, right? Um, and she starts drawing shit, willy nilly, and she's having fun, and then she ends up tracing a sigil from the book, and this ends up casting some sort of forbidden magic that ends up encasing both her home and her mother in this magic stone. Basically, it's like a big crystal. Um,
Hmm.
and Keyfree saves her and basically decides that instead of what normally, I guess, a witch does when something like this happens, is they just wipe the memory and they say, "All right, on your way you go. Your mom's dead. See you later." Um, Instead of that, Coco kind of pleads with him and says, uh, I want to save her, basically, right? Like I want to learn magic and save her. Um, and so he takes her under his wing, and she becomes a witch, and then that's the
Well,
series. It
also,
goes from there, and
importantly, too, is that he realizes that she's his, like, best lead to find
yeah,
whoever is
yeah, yeah,
giving out the forbidden magic books.
yeah. So the kind of overall plot is obviously Coco learning magic, right? So it's a sort of um,
When you say the main plot is Coco learning magic, is it like I mean, because there are sort of these main storylines or these main sort of objectives
yeah.
that both of these characters have to get to, right? Because it's like they have to find the forbidden magic people and all that stuff. But is it more kind of the school is a general theme while the characters go towards that, or is it more of a Little Witch Academia vibe where it's a little bit more of a
No,
focus on the
yeah. So
schools and the various things?
the end goal is to discover
Mm,
who this like um whether it's an individual or if it's a group or whatever, um discover who is kind of like disseminating these forbidden magic books out to the
mhm,
world, kind of like put a stop to it, right? And obviously there's like a mystery and a conspiracy there as well, but the backbone and kind of like the way the plot you know rides to that destination is through Coco learning magic, right? And the sort of
mhm,
struggles that comes with, and the other apprentices that she has to deal with. There's a rival character. Um, there's other people within um, kind of witch society that are kind of putting blockages into Coco's path, because Coco is like she's an outsider, right? She hasn't raised as a witch, um,
right,
and
right.
she has cast forbidden magic, and so it's kind of a black mark on her, sort of in like witch society, right? And she
Mhm,
kind of has to pull double duty to kind of prove her worth that she's not like she's actually capable of being a witch, and she's not just kind of um like riding off the coattails of her master, right, or her teacher or
Mm.
whatever. Um,
I guess, is the screen time a 50-50 between, half of the time she interacts with the witches in society, and then she goes through, it's kind of like a Harry Potter balance of screen time, right? Where half the time she takes classes or interacts with their fellow classmates or whatever, and then the other half is she ends up in some sort of room or wherever or location where she has to
yeah,
find out more about is that sort of it? A Harry Potter kind of
yeah.
scenario?
So it's kind of so it's this is technically a seinen, right? So it's kind of got like
Mhm.
the like soft shonen kind of influences where it's
Mm,
like
mm,
the you have half the series where it's obviously Coco kind of doing you know self discovery and exploring what uh, her ability to grow through magic, applying her skills as like because before she became a witch she was like a tailor or whatever, and her abilities to uh, like draw clean lines like with the chalk or whatever on fabric, her applying that to drawing sigils, stuff like that. It's like have that like the character kind of exploration stuff, and then half of it is um casting spells to fight a dragon type shit, you know what I mean? um
mm.
like a conflict, right, where um
Yeah.
these like secret witch people will like pull them into some sort of scenario, and they're like, oh fuck, like we got to get out of this, and um it's that's kind of how it goes, right?
How do the conflicts work in that sort of, or like how in that world do they explain more fast-paced combat and conflicts working if they have to sit and like write sigils, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so a lot of it is kind of um like leading something kind of into a trap kind of thing, um
Oh, okay, okay. Like
yeah, like
sigils that they already have set up.
yeah, it's almost like a Batman kind of thing where it's like you need prep
Yeah, yeah,
time,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
in order to set that shit up, you need time, and then you kind
I
of need
like
a
that
plan
idea
to
more.
like execute it, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the magic system is definitely very well like thought out. Like they gave like um,
Well,
there's
it
like
also
multiple
leads to
scenes
less
across
of
multiple
those sorts of
episodes.
like, yeah, I think it also leads to, I mean, there are plenty of other series. I'm not gonna sit here and say stuff like, "Oh, Free Run is bad" or whatever. But on a lot of these sorts of magic series, right? What happens is it kind of ends up becoming laser beams at each other, right? Like
Yeah,
despite
yeah,
all the different
Yeah, it's like
whatever spells, yeah,
very like newer RPG magic where it's like you
yeah,
just you just cast that shit. You got mana, you can cast it.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Whereas this
again,
system's a
it's
lot
like the
more.
same with Harry Potter. It's like pew
Yeah,
pew 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 pew. It's like at the
yeah.
end of the day.
Well,
This
at the very
system's a
least,
lot
Harry
more
Potter has to
deliberate for
chant.
sure. Yeah, they have to at
Yeah.
least like say the things. Um, but yeah, this one is very interesting because they get pretty um creative with it, because like um there's rules as well against like there's so that you can't do any magic that uh what is it, like affects a human being, right? So basically you can't draw a sigil onto like human skin, right? So you can't do anything that teleports you like your physical
Is that
body.
just part of the rules of
um
which society, or is it
yeah, so
Yeah.
those
literally
are like
not?
those are like
Oh,
rules,
okay,
so it would be like forbidden
okay,
magic, right?
okay,
You
okay,
can't
okay.
like, yeah, you can't like specifically use magic that would like physically harm an individual. um you can't like brainwash or hypnotize somebody. And the only
Hmm.
like they say that there's like the one loophole for like casting magic upon an individual is the memory wipe thing to like keep
Hmm.
magic hidden, right? um but yeah, they get pretty creative with the sigil stuff because early on they introduced like these flying shoes, right? And
Hmm.
the way the flying shoes work is that half the sigil is on one shoe, and then the other half of the sigil is on the other shoe. And then when you bring your feet together, the sigil completes, and then you have the spell that casts and it propels you upwards, right?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So they get pretty creative with the magic stuff as well. Um, but yeah, the magic system is definitely a highlight. Um, the story itself, like I said, it's pretty simple, um, but it's paced well. Um, the episodes that are out so far are they are mostly set up. But like I said, like the main kind of big conflict so far has been um, the dragon. And then before that, she had to do like this test thing where she had to get some. She went into like the wilderness and she had to get some like random like, sage, you know, root or some shit. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and she kind of had to improvise because she had the flying shoes and then she fell into the water and then the sigil gets, you know, all washed out. So she has to like
Oh, okay. Okay.
improvise
Okay.
in order how to
Mm.
like propel herself upwards. And she ends up building effectively um like a flying broom. But the way it flies is that she tied a like her cape to the wood, and then she drew like a wind like uh propulsion thing onto the cape, so that way it acts as like a sail and it shoots upwards. Um, so yeah, it's really cool how the magic works. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, the characters are all pretty good from what they've introduced so far. They're pretty simple, but they all work pretty well. The main kind of like drivers so far are like Coco herself, obviously, and then Keyfree is the teacher, and then like there's the rival character, Agat, and she's more of like a, you know, I don't want you around here because you're an outsider, and you know, you being here kind of, it's like a stain on, you know, all the hard work that I've put in, you know, to be here. You know, the fact that Coco was able to kind of just be an apprentice without really like, you know, going through all of the shit that Agot's gone through,
Right.
because
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Agot's been in witch society like since she was born basically, and she's had to, you
Mhm.
know, really work hard and um, you know, mastering like drawing sigils and shit like that. And then Coco shows up and she's kind of just handed this shit. Um, and Agot kind of has a resentment towards that, right? Um, and so Coco kind of has to um, work kind of like double duty to prove herself within Agot's eyes, and also, you know, um, to overcome her own kind of insecurities about, you know, her shortcomings or her fears of using magic, right? Because, you know, her own kind of misstep is what caused her mother to be encased in fucking stone to begin with, right? So she has her own apprehensions about
Mhm.
using magic to begin with. Um,
Right. 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 Right.
so yeah, that's kind of the main um, drive so far in terms of characters. Um, but yeah,
Okay.
it's all been
Okay.
handled very well. Um, and nobody's like Agot is confrontational, but she's not like it's not like a melodramatic kind of rivalry thing where Agot is kind of just like, oh, I hate you and you're stupid and you're dumb, right? Um,
Mm.
like the reason for Agot's animosity is obvious, right? But it's not like contrived. You know what I mean? It is very understandable. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, I
It's
think
not
It
like
it's
also
really
any
has it
very
also
weird
has
like.
pretty reasonable boundaries too, is what
yeah,
I'd say. Because
yeah,
it's like,
Mhm.
you know, she's not out there like twirling her mustache behind the scenes like I'm gonna get her killed. It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
more so wants to
Um,
see her rise to the occasion then, like prove
yeah, it's
herself
basically
that
like
she belongs there.
it's almost like a tough love kind of thing where it's like if you want to make it in witch society, like you have to overcome the shit that I'm throwing you, because otherwise you're just gonna be dead. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, so it's quite good.
Mhm.
Um, as for the audio visuals, right? Um, this is a really good looking
Yeah,
show.
so.
Yeah. Um, this show is really, really good looking. And I think a big worry I remember a lot of people having when the anime was originally announced for this series, like I don't remember when, like a long time ago, at least like 5 years ago. But people were really worried because the manga has like really pretty art. Like it's really, really detailed. It's very um, uh, almost like storybookish. There's a lot of like the backgrounds and stuff are just like very um almost like a folklore or like a fable kind of thing. Um, so it was very uh interesting to see like how exactly that would be put into motion, right? But Bug Films has done a really good job. Obviously, it's not like
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not exactly Zom 100, but it should be like
yeah, and
pretty
it's not
close,
like
right?
1-to-1 to the manga. But they've done a very good job at kind of keeping that almost like a whimsical tone with the background art, especially. The background art is very, very nice. And
Yeah, I
then
was
the
gonna say
color
the
palette,
environments are gorgeous. Like,
yeah, the color palette is super, super
Hmm.
nice as well. It's very warm. Um, uh, even when they're in, even when it's like, say, like the sun is, almost completely set, or, it's a more um, melancholic scene or something like that, it's still very like warm palettes. Like it uses these warm palettes even to uh, kind of emphasize scenes where Coco's feeling very lonely, right? Like it doesn't it doesn't really feel like desaturated, I guess. Um, but yeah, the color palette is really nice, and then the animation itself is also super good. The character acting is super good. The magic effects are very, very nice. I think there's a little bit of um, I don't want to say like shoddy CG because the CG isn't like bad, but it is apparent. There's a scene in episode one where Coco's like on the top of her house and
Hmm.
she's running along kind of like this walkway that's on her roof. And the way her house is shaped is like it's basically like it's like a mushroom almost, right? But the top is like conical instead of like a mushroom head, and then it's got a walkway around it. And she's hanging um, laundry on the top. And then there's a shot where she's running along the walkway around the house, and it keeps the camera centered directly on Coco, but then the house itself rotates um, to keep her centered. You know what I mean? As like the camera pans around the house, and you can tell that the house is CG, right? Um,
Right, yeah, as
and
they
it
usually do in a lot of
yeah,
these
and
seasons.
it
Yeah.
stands out, but it doesn't look bad if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Um, it's a very cool shot actually, but yeah, a lot of the character acting and stuff is done very nice as well. Um, and again, it's not like a super action heavy series, but the last two episodes, episode 4 and 5, have pretty much all been about the the dragon, right? And the dragon
Oh, okay, okay, I see.
the dragon looks really fucking good. It's like almost entirely hand drawn, which is not something you see very often in these series. I think um the last like hand drawn dragon we got was Dungeon Meshi, right? And even that was a huge abnormality. Um, and it looks really, really cool. They do some really, really impressive shots with it. Um, a lot of flying through the air and dynamic camera angles and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, it's a very, very impressive show. I genuinely think um, if it keeps this kind of pace like throughout the entire series, like if it's this consistent, uh, I'd say I think Strange Fake probably still like beats it out in terms of like best visuals kind of thing.
of the year, yeah.
Um, but this is like this is an easy runner up. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
it's really
yeah,
nice
yeah.
looking and it's very consistent too. Um,
I'm
so
just glad that a lot of these series are really pushing the the envelope, or like even if they're not necessarily pushing the technology envelope, they're really keeping up. Some of these series are actually trying to still keep up that quality despite,
well, it's like
it potentially
like I was
costing a
talking
lot of money,
about.
right?
I think I touched upon this when I was covering Strange Fake, right? Where I feel like is the bar has been raised, right?
Yeah, yeah,
By
yeah, yeah.
studios like Mappa, and now A1 has been like, oh yeah, well check this shit out, um, and now, even these newer studios like Bug Films are like, well, if we want to be put on the map, if we want to get eyes, if we want to be noticed, like the standard for you know these cuts, these like the animation in general has been raised so high that you kind of can't really
Hmm.
just put out bog standard um you know shot reverse shot kind of um series. You know what I mean? Like you need these
Right.
really dynamic storyboards and these really impressive cuts. Um, and in order to do that, uh, you got to start hiring very talented animators, right?
And
Um,
actually paying them more. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, and then the question that I had with Strange Fake, and even now, it's like, how long can the anime industry do this with the amount of talent pool that it has within the animator um, industry, and like keep this up, across
Right, exactly.
however many studios now, right? Because we know like the animators at Mappa are being run ragged, um, but also they're working for these other studios at the same time as
Yeah,
like
yeah,
at the
exactly.
same time as they're doing all this crazy shit for Mappa. So yeah, it's definitely a question of how long can the anime industry keep this up, but it does look nice. It does look nice for sure. Um,
Yeah, what would help if the government and all the companies
They gave them
doing stuff.
$2,000 each.
yeah,
No, just no, $2,000 only to the first place
yeah,
of
for
the
for
next
the
manga
first place of
awards.
some
Right,
random
right.
fucking competition where, yeah, where in the competition themselves they have to run themselves fucking ragged for that tiny little prize. Yeah, it's a
Also,
great
they
idea.
have to use AI randomly. The
Yeah,
director will randomly be found out to be using generative AI. That everybody will
yeah,
make a fuss about it on Twitter, and he'll apologize, but then he'll do it again in like 3 months.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
quickly, OPED. The OP is Casino Anthem, uh, featuring Suisse from Yorishika, by Eve,
Oh, okay.
and um, I don't like this song. I'm gonna
Oh no.
I'm gonna be straight up. I think this song is really boring. Um,
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
the it almost feels like the most boring bump of chicken song you can imagine. Um, is kind of how I would describe it. It's like it starts off nice with these strings, and it's kind of got this kind of, you know, um, almost like medieval fair kind of vibe to it, and then it immediately goes into the most generic J-pop you've ever heard, and it really kind of kills the vibe.
Yeah, I would say
Um,
it also doesn't help that I don't think that vocals particularly like complement anything that isn't like weird and moody in my
yeah,
opinion.
kind of. The visuals, however, are really really nice. They're really really good. Um, again, leaning into this kind of sort of medieval um, like diagram, kind of the way like those. If you look at those old um, books of like alchemy or um, like sword fighting diagrams, stuff like that, they've got
Mhm.
that kind of uh, like penmanship stuff going on in some of the backgrounds, and there's a lot
Like
of
a little
really
bit more calligraphic,
yeah yeah yeah
kind of,
yeah
or just yeah.
yeah or like old medieval maps with the way
Hmm.
they'd like make the compass as like the sun, and it's got like the bits of
Oh
fire
yeah,
as
yeah, 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 yeah,
the cardinal directions and stuff like that.
yeah,
It's got stuff like that. It's really nice looking.
yeah. Like
Um,
stuff like heraldry and stuff
yeah,
so on.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really nice vibe. And then the ED is uh oh, I guess
I
does
believe
the
there are
song
multiple,
change?
right? Yeah, I
Yeah, so
believe
the
it's
song
a
change. So the
different
songs
ED
change.
and visuals each time, I believe as well.
Yeah, I think the visuals change a little bit here and there. But so the first ED is Tada Utsukushi Noroi by Nakamura Hak, and it's a kind of a banger. I'm not gonna lie. Um, it's a very kind of soft, um, emotional kind of ballad kind of track, and it's nice. It's really good. Um, and then the visuals themselves are kind of this monochrome, um, almost like outlines only kind of thing, uh, where at the very end it kind of blooms with color kind of thing. And it's nice. It's cute. And then the second ED is uh, Yoru ni Ukabu by Nakamura Hack as well. Also a banger. And yeah, the some of the visuals change, and then sometimes they kind of just do the thing where um, the episode kind of just plays out, and then the ED track plays over it, and then they kind of just show the credits. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
so the ED doesn't always play, but when it does, it's quite pretty. Um,
Yeah, so how
but yeah,
about what's the deal with key footage just being fucking from Jujutsu
Gojo.
Kaisen? Yeah, Gojo.
Yeah,
What's
he's
going on
Gojo.
there? Why'd they copy him?
Um, well, when did
I was gonna say I
when did
believe
you
this predates Jujutsu Kaisen.
yeah, when did Jujutsu Kaisen
Yeah.
like
I
serialize
believe
start
Jujutsu
serializing?
technically
Kaisen was
Jujutsu
made in
Kaisen.
2000 BC, so you know.
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen is like marks the start of anime, so you know it's
That's
it's it's
That's
a little
true.
bit
true.
That's
hard.
That
true.
is very true. The new
Anything
era.
before Jujutsu Kaisen is like prehistoric anime. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
Like My
real
Hero
anime.
Academia. That was in the My Hero Academia era.
yeah. So Witch Hat Atelier does in fact predate Jujutsu Kaisen. So
Yeah.
um there's that. But uh yeah, Kifuri does look like Gojo. He's got those cute little um
Those piercing blue
glasses.
eyes.
Yeah. Um a I guess a couple quick noteworthy staff selections. Uh Director Ayumu Watanabe, who last episode I pointed out is one of the episode directors for Akane Banashi, um, along with many other things
Oh,
that
okay, okay.
I covered when I talked about Akane Banashi.
Hmm.
Doing a pretty damn good job here. Actually,
Yep.
a lot of the cuts are really nice. A lot of the um, directing and stuff is really cool. Script series composition is Hiroshi Seko. Um, he's worked on a lot of shit like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, Gachiakuta, Dandadan. Uh, let me keep scrolling here. Zone 100, um, Attack on Titan, Vinland Saga, Mob Psycho. So, you know, you get the picture. He's
Hmm.
pretty talented, pretty well rooted in the industry. Doing a pretty good job here. Forget who I saw on music, but the music as well. I forgot to kind of cover it. It's quite good here. Um, a lot of strings, a lot of flutes, like you'd expect for a more fantasy series. Um,
Hmm.
very whimsical. Um, but yeah, it's quite good. Um, the voice cast. I mean, is voice cast really super worth?
Yeah, I just skimmed through I just skimmed through it real quick. I think most of them are pretty standard names. Pretty, for instance,
Yeah,
Hanae Natsuki, pretty famous. Kunona Mitsuki, Saga Mitsuki. I think the main heroine in Coco, right,
Yeah,
is a pretty
Coco. So
new
she's a
person.
relative
Yeah.
newcomer.
Yeah, she's been popping off in some of these other stuff again. She did Shiba Yugi, she did Maebashi Witches, which is like a smaller stuff, but I think the sort of multimedia project around it is like popping off now. But
Yeah,
she's pretty new. And then one other, I think, Riche, which is Tsukishiro Hika, I think, is doing it. And then
right.
she's also relatively new. But other than
Yeah.
those, most have been pretty
To be
famous,
fair, Riche
prolific.
is a character that speaks like once every 2 episodes. So, um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Coco.
So.
Coco. She's the Rena Motomura. She does a pretty good job with Coco.
Mhm.
Very because Coco as a character is very. She's got that very reserved, very apprehensive kind of um tone to her, but then she kind of has
Mhm.
to um, kind of lock in every once in a while, right? So she does a good job for sure. Yeah, the voice cast is all doing a very good job, but yeah, yeah. I don't know if there's too much else to really point out. Um, it
Okay.
is kind of pretty much just overall a very good show.
I mean, even the story aside, you would still potentially give it one of the best visuals of the year so far. So,
Yeah, for
right?
sure,
So,
for sure. It
mhm.
looks good. The story. I think the story is good. I think the characters are good. They're all likable. Um, yeah, it looks good. It sounds good. It is good. There's really not too much I can pick apart here. I will say, I think the last thing worth noting is that the mangaka himself actually commented that I think before the first episode aired, the mangaka was like, "Hey, by the way, um, there's going to be some stuff that's a little bit rearranged, like out of order, compared to
Mm.
like 1-to-1 to the manga, and uh, they themselves are actually the ones that put that forward to kind of
Okay.
re um, reorder some of the um, way things are introduced or some of the way that things are paced, stuff like that. So,
At
um,
least that's good because they're communicating with the studio and kind of structuring it out in a
yeah,
way that, everybody's kind of satisfied.
yeah. So, um,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, it's
What's your
good.
Mal
It's
rating
a good
for it?
show. So this is currently sitting at 8.7 on Mal, um,
Wow, that's pretty high even for
which is
Mal.
quite
Like,
high for Mal.
yeah.
And I think that's pretty fair. I think I'd probably give this a 9, um, as it
Hmm.
stands right now.
Hmm.
It is very, very good. Um, I'm, I'm not 100% sure. So the manga has been going for a while, but I know it has been pretty slow. Um, so I don't know if this is going to get a second core. It's scheduled for 13 episodes, which is pretty standard, right? Um, and it might get a second core, it might not, but I think even if it doesn't, I think this would be kind of like solid as an individual package. So yeah, um, yeah, I think a 9 is fair. Um, it's good. So, and from what I can tell, this is basically like the most popular kind of series this season, especially like in the Western kind of anime
Right.
viewer crowd. So
And it has
yeah,
that sort of general, like the setup and the themes and the characters all have a general vibe where it's one of those series where you can kind of show to a general audience as well, right? It's not very
yeah,
limited
yeah.
in
It's
terms
not
of extreme violence or extreme weird niche humor or whatever, right?
yeah, it's not a problematic media as the youth calls it. Um,
It's too woke though, so
yeah, it is
That's
woke. It is
true.
woke. There are people of color in this, and they don't get called
Was that
slurs, which is crazy.
yeah? What was that sort of what happened on the social media landscape with regards to which Hat Atelier? What was it about? I didn't really look
So
at it.
it didn't really, from what I had seen, it's not so much that like people were shitting on it. It was more so people being like, people who knew were like, some people are gonna have a fit when they realize like how woke this author
Oh,
is, like,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and how much representation is actually in this manga in the later parts.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay,
I don't
okay.
know if the
All right.
anime
Well,
will necessarily get to some of that, but yeah. The mangaka is a woke um
woke warrior.
yeah, as some might put it. But yeah,
All
quite
right.
funny.
Sounds good though. All right. Well, thank you very much, Nier, for helping to cover Witch Hat Atelier. Again, the uh, original manga and then adapted into an anime by Bug Films of Zom 100 fame. So obviously, it's coming from a good place. Uh, they were originally spun off from OLM Studio, which they've done also a pretty good job as well. But definitely, they have the audiovisual chops. So please, I think this general does have I don't want to say general appeal. It's not like a specific niche theme or anything like that. So I would say, bring your bring your parents to anime night, right? It's one of those sorts of series, but
Yeah.
please do check it out if you have the time. And it was one of the anticipated series of the year, or sorry, of the season. And I'm glad it panned out well, and I'm glad that Nier helped review it properly. So thank you very much.